Boom, baby, what up? Hey, this is Morad Fiki, real estate expert, and today is Ask the Expert Anything Thursdays. So just wanted to say how's it going to everybody. I hope you're ready for the weekend and hope you're doing your Christmas shopping. Hope it's coming along and you're not like me procrastinating to the last minute. So anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope everybody's enjoying your time. Today, I wanted to talk about the new tax bill that passed. That's the Texas Property Tax Reform and Transparency Act of 2019. So basically, it's the new Senate Bill 2 that passed, was carried by Senator Paul Betancourt, who's actually my state senator, really awesome. Just wanted to talk about it in case you didn't understand. I got a few notes right here. Mainly what this bill is about, it's basically limiting how much the local governments can increase their budgets year over year. So if a city or county wants to increase the revenue by more than 3.5% per year, 3.5% per year, it must go to voter approval. And how did that help before? Well, prior to this bill, it was an 8% maximum cap. So this is a huge win for taxpayers, Texas taxpayers, because now they limited 3.5% is the max that they can increase year over year, or it must be on the November ballot. Another thing that happened with this bill is that so local governments couldn't like sneak it by voters and put it in a special election, which sometimes, you know, it's just a fancy name for an election that's not on the November ballot. The November ballot is when most voters, the highest voter turnout is there. So when you run a special election, a lot of people miss it. And they're like, what, there was an election? That's a way that local governments have sometimes slid things past. So it has to be on the November ballot. Again, in the past there was an 8% cap in revenue being added. Now it's limited at 3.5%. For school districts, it's limited at 2.5% year over year. So that's pretty awesome. Again, if they want to increase it more than 2.5%, they must put it on the ballot. An election has to be called and the voters have to approve it. So that's pretty good. In the past, voters had to petition for an election. Now it automatically goes on the November ballot. And again, you can't hide it in a June or August special hidden election. Another thing is that if the government plans to boost its tax rate, then a detailed public notice is required to inform residents. So this notice in a newspaper and or the government's website explains where a public hearing is scheduled to discuss the increase. Also, the law says that protesters are now entitled to a copy of the data, schedules, formulas, all other information that the chief appraiser will introduce at the hearing. There's no charge, but you have to ask for this. There's no backstabbing. An appraisal review board cannot raise the taxable value of a property for someone who has come in for a hearing. So that just means that, you know, the no tax, if there was no tax rate hike, it used to be called the effective tax rate. Like, what does that mean, right? Let's put it in English. Now it's called the no revenue tax rate. So as a part of the bill, also school-related property taxes, the majority, usually the biggest part of property taxes on the bill will drop by an average of 8 cents per every $100 of valuation. So in 2021, the drop is 13 cents per every $100 of valuation. So that's pretty good. States also pumping billions into the school system in state dollars, and the amount paid is going from $51.80 to $61.60. So that's pretty good. Also, arbitration review board members who heard your property tax protest must undergo an 8-hour training session. So I don't know if that'll change anything, just a little bit of knowledge. Also, arbitrators who hear protests are required to do training as well. Too many hats. An individual cannot serve on the appraisals district's board of directors if that person has appraised property or represented protesters. That's another thing. More comptroller involvement. And exemptions are not so invisible. It always bothered us that homeowners had to apply for a homestead exemption. And it wasn't automatic. As you know, we got to get those homestead exemption applications in. And sometimes, and you're limited how far you can go back on getting a refund. So if you file years after the deadline, you might not get all that refund. So now appraisal districts need to send an email or a mailed notice that shows a change in the value of the property and also alerts you to an exemption eligibility. That's pretty good. So the bill, it doesn't have everything that, all of the relief that many people wanted, but it does have some limits in place, especially the 3.5% cap on increasing revenues and the 2.5% cap on a school district. So that's pretty sweet. Just wanted to go over that and then see if anyone else has any questions. Appreciate everybody from tuning in. And I think we're going to do this every Thursday. We're going to have Ask the Expert Thursdays. So any questions you have, you can submit them to me early. We'll shoot for 1 p.m. on Thursdays, and we will do a quick recap. Any questions, issues, property taxes, real estate, and anything else real estate related. So I appreciate it. And hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we will see you soon.